Connor, hit us with your topic for this lovely minigame of yours.
It's a pre-order. Pre-order is where, kind of like a hit 10, but it's when we don't have 10 entries. We list out some games in a particular category, or some topic, some subject in a particular category. I'll tell them all the entries in the list, but won't tell them the position of it. And from that information, they have to guess where it's supposed to be on the ranking, which in this case is a ranking of
order.
1 through 9. Yes, pre-order. It is not something sourced from myself, as we typically would do for this kind of game. I got an article, a top 9, like I said, from DualShockers on the 9 most overrated video game consoles.
Okay.
Yes.
Whoa. All right.
I wasn't going to make us waste time on figuring
Who is this
out,
from?
This DualShockers.
DualShockers trying to start some fights.
And anything that needs, like, why would they put that on the list or on that position on the list? They do give justifications for them. So if you want them, just ask.
I can think of a couple that are overrated.
Well,
like pretty eeasily.
I'm going to list them off, so get ready to write them down, guys.
I can't wait for none of the ones in my mind to be here.
I feel like a lot of them are not.
Yeah.
In some degree. Well, we'll find out. So the games, the 9 consoles, I should say, are as follows. The Nintendo Wii. The Nintendo 3DS.
Wow.
That is the one with the 3D feature. Like the slider that you can do
Really?
to pop it up.
Really, Connor?
And
Is that what the
some
3
people
in
don't
the,
fucking know. It's
in
like
the 3DS means? Is it has 3D capabilities?
Nintendo Switch.
Whoa.
Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Are these all Nintendo consoles?
No,
Wait a minute.
I just did the Nintendo consoles first, and then I'm like, well,
Oh, I get. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
PlayStation 3.
No GameCube.
No.
No GameCube.
I was so happy to not see it there. I was like,
Nintendo
yes.
Switch, but no GameCube.
Yep. Again, you can ask for justifications later, but
Wild.
PlayStation 3 and the other PlayStation console, PlayStation 5.
It was 2, 3, and 5?
No, for PlayStation? No, 3 and 5.
Oh, it was just 3 and 5.
Yes. The Atari 2600.
Okay.
Yeah. The Xbox 360.
I knew that one was coming.
Yeah. And then the Sega Master System.
Oh, to be 27 and not know what 2 of these are.
Right. They're like, well, this guy definitely knows, or
Right.
woman. Who wrote this? Well, you guys are getting that all. Jake Valentine, like a detective.
Wow, Jake is a good Jake's smart. I've read Jake's work for a while. For him to put Switch on here and not the fucking GameCube is disappointing. Jake, do better.
I'm surprised the GameCube isn't on here.
You don't hate the GameCube. You hate the GameCube controller.
That is the biggest.
What franchise was best on GameCube?
What franchise?
Yeah. What franchise entry was best on GameCube? Of all the GameCube entries in all the major franchises, 3D Mario's.
I know what you're gonna say.
I see what you're pointing. You're saying what entry that was on the GameCube
that came out on GameCube was the best of the franchise. Which one? It wasn't 3D Mario.
See, no,
It wasn't Zelda.
People say Smash, but they're wrong.
Some people say Smash, but they're wrong. I think Ultimate has kind of killed that conversation. They had a point against Brawl. They had a point against Brawl.
Now, notice the framing of how you're justifying why it's not that good of a console. You're saying the best out of franchises, not the quality of each individual game. Because then
People
you
will
have
also
Okami.
say-
It wasn't Mario Kart.
Double Dash is good.
Double Dash is the best
Really
Mario
fucking
Kart.
good.
Double
no,
Dash
it's
is
not.
good. No,
The best
Mario
Mario
Kart
game.
8
Best Mario
Deluxe
Kart
is
game.
the best version of Mario Kart.
Still,
Deluxe
Mario Kart
is the best Mario Kart.
No.
Did you
No.
not just hear my list?
I know. And then I was like, oh wait, no, that's 2. Yeah. Then also
Maybe they had Mario Party. Congratulations, you had Mario
Metroid
Party.
Prime.
you could argue.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Some people would say,
But is
Resident Evil.
Metroid this killer franchise? I don't think so.
But
Resident Evil.
I was gonna say some people will also
It's
say
also an argument.
some people will also say Zelda for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
I understand the argument for like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, but I think it is more impressive with the GameCube titles because they're 2 completely different games.
I think both Ocarina and Majora's Mask. Were
Ah,
higher than
yeah,
the
you're right,
GameCube
yeah.
Zeldas.
Yeah, never mind. You're right. But still, the point we're being
I don't know if I agree.
really.
I mean, I love Ocarina of Time. I haven't finished Majora's Mask.
I'll concede to Majora, but the conversation is always, or was always, Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda until Breath of the Wild came out.
Even still, the GameCube has Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Resident Evil 1 Remake, Resident Evil 4, Okami, Shadow of Rome. Is that on the GameCube?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. that was a pull.
Yeah, I know,
Connor.
yeah.
That was a pull.
I always think about that game. Ripping people's arms off. Anyway.
But then to put the Switch on it.
Well,
Like, as if the Switch is not Nintendo's best console.
maybe the Switch is near the bottom. Tell me.
Better be.
It's, a lot of these consoles, what does overrated mean? I don't know. Because I don't even know what my baseline is for deciding whether something is underrated or overrated. They're consoles. Most of the time I wasn't around for majority of the consoles that have released. I wasn't alive for, I would say.
I want to make it known. I want to make it known that while completing this list and filling it out, I don't agree with it.
Right. But you're delving into the mind of Jake Valentine. So
I'm attempting to.
yes.
I don't know that. I don't know Jake, but I think he's trying to turn some heads.
He might be. I mean, would you wait and see? You wait and see where it's listed. Yeah, so that makes sense why that one's there. I'm looking at it while you're reading, you're crafting your lists to see what his justifications are for some of these, especially, okay, overrated. Yeah, I understand that as a justification. Oh, okay. Okay, that's justifiable. Yeah, let me see their reasoning for putting the Switch where it was. Yep, it was okay. I get that. I get that too. Oh, I disagree about that. Yeah, I would disagree.
Yeah, I don't
with
love this list. I don't love this list that I've come across, but I'm ready.
that. Okay, well, Phil, let me know whenever you're ready. Oh, you did.
I'm finishing up right
Okay.
now. I have to erase my word bank real quick, so I don't.
I'm gonna
look stupid.
assume. I'm gonna assume Jake here is giving a lot of credit to the old.
The thing is, I will say, reading him, I'm at the fifth entry. He's been pretty justifiable in putting the list where it is. He has reasons for it. It's not just
My thing is like to use the term overrated. Some of the consoles in this list are not super highly rated.
like the PS3.
Yeah.
yeah,
People dog
right?
shit on that all the time.
Yes, but like, I mean, like, how often do we really talk about the Sega Master System?
Exactly. Right.
So, like, to put that in this list, I have to go, well, it's probably, in my brain, I go, it's probably fairly low, just because we don't put that one that high.
And I read it where its justifications were for it. It makes sense.
I'm going to switch my number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
I'm switching my number 3 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I get that. Yeah. Hey, fuck off. Yeah, that was I just saw a bad take from Valentine. The worst part about this list is one of the things he says about the PS3, but that's not related to the ranking.
Here, let me get into mine, and then I want to talk about mine, which is funny because this is not even this is a weird one to do, but I love it. So starting at number 9, the least overrated, I have the Nintendo 64. Number 8, Atari 2600. Are you ready? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9, 64. Number 8, 2600. 7, I have the Nintendo Switch. 6, I have the Sega Master System. 5, I have the Xbox 360. 4, the PS3. 3, 3DS. 2, PS5. 1, Wii.
Okay.
In my head, the biggest battle right now for me is having the PS3 higher than the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. That's such a weird generation. Like, it's a very strange generation when you look at it. So I don't know. Like, I could see arguments either way of putting the Xbox higher as more overrated than the 3, or vice versa.
Yeah. Well, that's your list, as you have said it, Phil.
You've got all of his points recorded.
I do.
For me, I'll show my work here. I put number 9, the Xbox 360. I put number 8, the Sega Master System. Number 7, the Switch. 6, the Wii. 5, 3DS. 4, PS3. 3, Atari. 2, Nintendo 64. And number 1, PS5.
All right. Well, There is a definitive winner.
That's why I me putting PS5 at number 1 there. It's like I feel like he wants to turn some heads there. Like I feel like he's one of those, like, there's one of the I don't know Jake personally. I don't know if this is me being like mean. It's like, it doesn't have any games on it.
Well,
I don't understand how you have Wii at 6. Because to me, the Wii might be the most overrated console.
I don't know about that.
Well, so like I said,
I'd say towards the middle like this,
Well, somebody won.
Okay.
Tavin.
Yeah.
You, from your list, achieved 1 point.
Okay.
Phil achieved 4 points.
Oh, look at Phil.
Very good scoring, Phil. So the list is as follows. Follow along. 9, the Xbox 360.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep, so you got that one there.
Okay.
8, Nintendo 64.
Oh,
okay.
7, Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay.
6, going off the conversation that was just had, Nintendo Wii. That was right there.
Wow. Okay. Phil nailed it.
5, Nintendo 3DS. That was the last one I got right. Yeah. No, I was like, Jesus. 4, PlayStation 5. 3,
Valid.
Okay.
PlayStation 3.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
And then the thing you guys did, it was, I understood your reasoning, but the bottom games are the old consoles. 2, Atari 2600. 1, Sega Master System. Now, the reason why.
We don't talk about those systems, so how can you say they're overrated?
Well, that's the thing. With the Sega Master System, the whole thing is that it was inherently tied up, and I'm assuming more of an authority on this subject, especially with what he says on the Atari 2600.
Than us, so yeah.
His justification was everybody loves the Sega Genesis, which has a lot of the same games that the Master System had, and it was basically equated as being the same thing when it in fact wasn't. Basically, I'll read it here.
So his beef is with the Genesis, not the Master System?
No, it's the Master System. I love the Sega Genesis. I love the games Sega put out, delivering an excellent alternative that proves that Sega indeed does what Nintendo don't.
You said it backwards. So a lot of the games that started on Genesis moved over to Master System, and that's why it's overrated.
Yes, that kind of thing. Yeah,
that's an old head. I was there in the moment perspective.
Exactly, it is. Yeah, but I mean, as it stands. Any other ones you were interested in finding out his justification? Atari 2600 was like, yeah, you got a bunch of cool home game consoles very early in the market.
Give me the Wii.
But it set up the crash that would eventually happen. The Wii... I'll read it just really quickly. Despite being one of the best-selling consoles of all time, the Nintendo Wii is incredibly overrated. Its success was carried out by the mainstream appeal of Wii Sports. Yes, it's cool that your parents can play tennis in the living room or use motion controls to better immerse themselves in video games, but it's a fad that quickly wore off. While no one did motion controls better than Nintendo, that's the thing with fads. When they overstay their welcome, they're discarded as quickly as they catch on. Since Nintendo went all in on the motion controls, some of their formerly reliable franchises had them tacked on to essential gameplay. In the case of the Mario Galaxy games, this didn't matter. When it came to Zelda, though, it was a little aggravating to say the least. So, I see that
we didn't really get a Zelda game on the Wii.
We got Skyward Sword.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Skyward
Sword.
Princess came out
I
on
did
it.
forget about that. Yeah, but Twilight Princess, I feel, is considered more of as a GameCube game than a Wii game.
It is, partly because it doesn't control as well.
To me, you making that argument is like saying that Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game.
I think Breath of the Wild has the opposite effect, where it is considered a Switch game, not a Wii U game, and that's purely because of the complete utter failure of the Wii U. Nobody had it. Everybody was ready for the next thing. I'm
skipping Nintendo this generation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, whereas GameCube, yes, not one of their best-selling consoles, not really considered as the most successful console ever, but it still carried that successful Nintendo nature with it, whereas the Wii U was just one of the biggest failures of all time.
Yeah, kind of a bummer that because of that nobody really played Pikmin 3, and I think that's probably why kind of Pikmin 4 got that big explosion rather than Pikmin 3. So
people were aching. All those.
Also,
and
most Wii U titles found a new home on Switch anyway, and sold well, to my understanding of every Wii U title that ever got ported over.
Yep. And just to round out some other justifications, Xbox 360 solely because of the Red Ring of Death and how it was poorly made.
That's a poor. Yes, you're right, but that's a poor reason. My argument would have been like, what outside of Halo and Gears of War, what was really on Xbox 360 that really moved the needle forward?
It justifies it by saying all the good things: the expansion of Xbox Live, the introduction of Xbox Live Arcade, and the
100%.
growth of online multiplayer games, in addition to a bunch of good games.
Yeah. I just think in terms of software, other than Halo and Gears, where was Xbox that generation?
I think a lot of that.
It's hard to say that in the peak of Halo and Gears, that's all you fucking needed, really.
Yeah.
But like
Gears,
when the next generation rolls around and everybody is tired of Halo and Gears, then what did Xbox have? Jack shit.
Yeah. Well, I can't really argue with that. They've definitely hit that weak spot.
We got 3 Halo games on Xbox 360, and in my opinion, never mind. I was gonna say they were all bangers, but only 2 of them were bangers.
64 because the reliance on cartridges rather than CD-ROMs and the controller being bad. Nintendo's
The controller's a valid criticism, but I think
Which one wasn't a banger?
Reach.
Okay, you're a liar.
Wait, you said wasn't?
Reach is not a banger.
Everyone.
I understand. No. Hold on.
different.
I'm speaking purely Tavern here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
So
why I was like.
I'm purely
Okay.
speaking Tavern here. I understand the impact that Reach had.
Mhm.
This is a moment where I think the masses are wrong.
You're also forgetting ODST.
Sure, I don't. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I just don't fully see that as a full Halo title, but you're right. That one's a banger.
Nintendo Switch because the processing power, it got worse as years went on. I mean, you've complained about this.
I mean, yes. The Switch was outdated when it came out. We probably should have gotten a Switch 2 sooner. I'm going to chalk that up to pandemic delaying Nintendo's generation refresh. But, I mean, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey, Mario Wonder, Animal Crossing, like the list just keeps going of just banger.
That's the biggest issue with this entire list because his other justification for it is the lineup. His software lineup has been disappointing. Saying, yeah, sure, Tears of the Kingdom and Super Mario Odyssey are all incredible titles, but their formerly reliable spin-offs have felt half-baked. It's unfortunate. That seems to be more
Luigi's
focused.
Mansion 3, Bayonetta 3. Like, what are we talking about here? Switch has been a Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Exactly.
To a lesser extent, Fire Emblem Engage.
Mm-hmm.
We need to bring this like argument and everything back up next week when we talk about the best Switch games.
Yeah, right? Because it's just like, what the fuck do you even mean? We've had amazing remakes of classic games on Switch. Link's Awakening, Thousand Year Door, some of the other ones. Echoes of Wisdom was great. Like, Switch's software lineup is goated.
Yeah, that's why I disagree with it.
There's shortcomings. Yeah, the Mario sports games were all duds. Sure.
Yeah.
The Mario parties never really kicked off like they probably should. It seems like this last one and the one that remixed all the old ones were well received, but didn't really like leave an impact. But what are you expecting from Mario Party? Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I mean, come on. You depending on how you view Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you could take that away if you want. I think over the course of Deluxe's life, I mean, there were some changes to Deluxe. A second item, a bunch of like the cart crafting and some other stuff like were improved upon. But like they doubled the amount of content in that game.
With the Booster Course Pass, yeah.
Yeah, that's solely a Switch thing. Like they gave you Mario Kart 8.5. Like, and it's basically a new game, you know?
Yeah.
Just you also get the old game also. I don't understand how anybody could overrate the Nintendo Switch. The technology thing, yes, it's shameful how behind the times they are with this tech.
He mentioned even when they were released, they were behind the times.
100% they were.
Yeah.
100% they were. But I mean, who cares when you have these games, you know?
I was gonna say, I feel like it's almost I mean, I don't want to glaze Nintendo too hard, but it's almost like super impressive that they can still do all of the things they did when they were behind the times.
Yeah.
But like you kind of open the door there. It's like if they weren't behind the times, imagine how much better they would have been. Like, you know.
Sure, but I mean, Pikmin 4, like the list just keeps like you can just keep going and going and going and going with it. And on top of that, let's really talk about why they're so behind the times, and it's because they chose to do the hybrid thing. And now
charge.
8 years later, Xbox is about to put is rumored to be putting out a handheld. PlayStation is thinking about doing a hybrid version with we assume what will be the PlayStation 6. The Steam Deck came out. The ROG Ally is out. Like, Nintendo was way ahead of the curve with this thing. And I mean,
that's Nintendo for you.
Skyrim on Switch was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a thing. Like, you can take Skyrim on the go for the first time ever, and it works.
Yep.
Come on, man. Like, I don't understand how you could put the Switch in this.
Skyrim was one of, I think it was like the third game I ever bought on the Switch.
I didn't buy it, but yeah, I didn't have it. But like it coming to Switch was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Well, just because like there was something so novel about like the fact that you could literally pull the two Joy-Cons back and you're firing a bow and arrow. Like,
well, could you do that? That's badass.
Yeah,
that's really fucking cool.
Absolutely, you could.
And then like, I mean, to add extra points on, like the Switch gets bonus points because they now get to have the credit of all of the greatness that was on the Wii U, because all those great Wii U games came over. And sure, you can't attribute those to the Switch, but for the majority of the player base, they played those games for the first time on the Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Was Bayonetta 1 a Wii or a Wii U game?
Wii U?
It was Wii.
It was Wii?
No, the first one I think was Wii.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Splatoon
that
2,
makes sense, yeah.
Splatoon 2 and 3. Like, those games, like,
You're a kid.
gave Nintendo a multiplayer outlet. Like, a legitimate multiplayer outlet that they never had before.
Connor very quietly, "You're a kid, you're a squid."
You're a kid, you're a squid. And he ends it at some point.
All right.
Like we could end the show.
Thank you guys so much for joining me on this lovely episode of the Piggy Bank. It was a good episode. A lot of fun conversation. We had a couple of topics. I didn't even mention the fact that me and my wife platinumed Split Fiction last night.
Good times.
Very good.
It was a good time. It was a very good time.
I will say real quick.
But go ahead.
Bayonetta was not even on the Wii. It was on the.
Shit.
It was released on the PS3 and Xbox 360. It was on the Wii U as well. And it eventually went to Switch and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
What?
Yeah, no. I was
a Nintendo title.
It's technically it's owned by Sega, title. And since it's been published by Nintendo since Bayonetta 2.
Oh.
Yeah. It's synonymous with Nintendo, you would think.
I knew it didn't start as a Nintendo like publishing thing. Like I knew it. I thought it was on the Wii. I didn't think it was exclusive, but I knew it was 360 and PS3 also. I thought it was also on the Wii, but it wasn't.
I assumed as much too. This was 2009, so it could have been, but
it could have been. It just wasn't.
Yeah,
fascinating.